Good evening, welcome to the Buck Stops here. I'm Vishnu Shom. On the program this evening on Vijayadashami, the Prime Minister sends out a strong message against terrorism. Speaking at the historic Dussehra celebrations at Aish Bagh in Lucknow, Mr. Modi said, "Destroy terrorism from its roots. Those who help terrorism cannot be accepted." Now, there was no direct mention of Pakistan, but the message seemed clear. At one stage, no one accepted India when we complained about terrorism, is what Mr. Modi said. Now he says there is a clear understanding that humanity cannot be protected unless terrorism is destroyed. Is terrorism and the targeting of the source of terrorism going to be a key theme in these elections in Uttar Pradesh coming up? Is terrorism now a political and electoral theme ahead of those elections? That's what we'll be looking at tonight. Before we get to our debate, a quick look now at some of the main points made by the Prime Minister.
आतंकवाद ये मानवता का दुश्मन है और कोई माने कि हम तो आतंकवाद से बचे हुए हैं तो गलतफहमी ने न रहे। आतंकवाद को कोई सीमा नहीं है, आतंकवाद को कोई मर्यादा नहीं है। वो कहीं पर जाकर के किसी भी मानवतावादी चीजों को नष्ट करने पर तुला हुआ है और इसलिए विश्व की मानवतावादी शक्तियों का आतंकवाद के खिलाफ एकजुट होना अनिवार्य हो गया है। जो आतंकवाद करते हैं उनको जड़ से खत्म करने की जरूरत पैदा हुई है। जो आतंकवाद को पनाह देते हैं, जो आतंकवाद को मदद करते हैं, अब तो उनको भी बख्शा नहीं जा सकता। पूरा विश्व तबाह हो रहा है और इसलिए आज जब हम रावण वध और रावण को जला रहे हैं तब पूरे विश्व ने, सिर्फ भारत ने नहीं, सिर्फ मुझे और आपने नहीं, पूरे विश्व की मानवतावादी शक्तियों ने आतंकवाद के खिलाफ एक बनकर के लड़ाई लड़नी ही पड़ेगी। आतंकवाद को खत्म किए बिना मानवता की रक्षा संभव नहीं होगी।
All right, some very strong statements by the Prime Minister, fairly along expected lines when the references to terrorism did actually emerge. But the question is, were these references direct enough? In whatever the Prime Minister said, there was no direct mention of the word Pakistan. He was referring obviously to Pakistan. He didn't refer to the Indian Army. He didn't refer to the surgical strikes. Is this because he chose to perhaps not speak about those issues as directly because there is a larger play at hand over here with regard to the situation with Pakistan? Or are we likely to actually see this in a much more direct fashion in the months ahead? Joining us now for more on this, Sambit Patra of the BJP, Sudhindra Bhadoria of the BSP, Gaurav Bhatia joins us of the Samajwadi Party, Sanjay Jha of the Congress, and the journalist and editor Sharad Pradhan. I'd like to thank all of you very much for joining us. Let me go first across to Sambit Patra. Do we have Sambit Patra with us? All right, we don't have Sambit Patra as yet. Let's go across to Gaurav Bhatia first. Gaurav, the use of terrorism, it wasn't unexpected in what the Prime Minister actually had to say. It's an extremely strong unifier at this stage in our country. How will the Samajwadi Party actually counter such an emotive issue going ahead into this election process?
No, I think, Vishnu, by saying that it is a very strong unifier, I completely agree with you. And I think as an Indian and as a representative of a political party, we welcome such a move where different people in society have now become one. And we, therefore, would fight the UP elections not worrying about this unifying factor which actually helps us. Rather, we would also fight the UP elections on the a plank of development, because Mr. Akhilesh Yadav has delivered whatever he promised in the election manifesto, unlike the BJP, which made tall claims and after the elections they completely forgot about the promises that they made. So I think that is why the BJP is trying to divert from the core issues of the state. I'll give you just one example. The Prime Minister, rightly so, made an appeal to all the senior BJP leaders not to indulge in chest thumping. There must be some proof with him. That is why he made this statement. What chest thumping did the Prime Minister do today? And even today we saw, just a sec, Vishnu, let me complete my point. There is a B team of the BJP which is always very active, and today also we saw thousands of hoardings coming up in various parts of Uttar Pradesh and especially UP, where credit was being given to the BJP leadership for surgical strikes. I think that is very unfortunate.
Okay, Sambit, do you want to reply to that?
Issues which
the Prime Minister was
more
subtle in how he referred to terrorism. But the point that Gaurav is mentioning is that, look, the BJP is claiming credit for those surgical strikes. He believes that should not be the case.
First, Vishnu, to you, to all the panelists and to all your viewers, a very happy Dussehra and Vijayadashami. I don't see any reason as to why I at least should be agitated today. Well, my opponents may be agitated and rattled. It appears to be that they are agitated. But what was the wrong of Bharatiya Janata Party, or what was that the Prime Minister said that one should be agitated over here? All that the Prime Minister said that we all have to come together and we have to fight against terrorism.
Avengers
terrorism
of
is a
Uri.
global menace. And
Avengers
those who,
of Uri, Sambit.
Okay, please, I was. Let's have some courtesy. Let's not speak over each other. Number one, the Prime Minister said that let's all come together and fight against terrorism.
You what the issue is.
No, but the Prime Minister never spoke about Avengers of Uri. He didn't mention the word Uri. He didn't mention the words Indian Army. He didn't mention the word surgical strike. Gaurav, I take the point you're talking about the hoardings and things like that.
Can I complete?
But go ahead, yes, Sambit.
Yes, I don't see any reason as to why the opposition should be so rattled. Despite there being no reason the opposition is so rattled, because of the very fact that they have their own insecurities. And the insecurity is that Prime Minister Narendra Modi is a tall personality. This government under the leadership of Prime Minister has delivered. Otherwise, if Mr. Gaurav Bhatia says that this government is not delivering, that Prime Minister is not so important in the party, he has not done anything, then he should not be so worried, he should not be so insecure. To the extent that he should be objecting to why the Prime Minister, his party should be objecting to the fact that why the Prime Minister is in Uttar Pradesh or in Lucknow in the Dussehra celebration. This shows that the insecurities is quite evident within the various opposition parties, Sambit, which have not worked, which have not performed.
Okay, Gaurav, I'll come to you in a little while. I got to go across to Sudhindra Bhadoria of the BSP. Mr. Bhadoria, when you see the Prime Minister in a position of strength, in a sense, in terms of an issue where the entire country is rallied and has backed him, it's an issue where the Prime Minister is saying things which are commonsensical, that we need to get rid of terrorism. The scourge of the world of humanity is terrorism. And if you look at the symbolism of the occasion when he has chosen to make his address today on Dussehra, on Vijayadashami, when we celebrate the fight of good over evil, would you not accept that this is a very, very strong statement coming as it does today of all days?
You see, in so far as terrorism is concerned or defending the territories of this country are concerned, India has been always one. It is not the first time. Since 1947 and even prior to that, on national issues, on issues of concern to the people of this country, the nation has been always one. But let me say this, that the Prime Minister's visit is being seen as a political visit by the people, and the reason is that the Prime Minister is being tested for two things. One, has he fulfilled the promises that he made to the people of Uttar Pradesh when he had gone 2.5 years back to contest his election in Varanasi? He had promised the farmers that he will give them the price of the produce. Thousands of farmers across the country, and more particularly in Uttar Pradesh, are committing suicide. He had promised that he will give 2 crore jobs to the unemployed youth. He has not even given 2 lakh jobs to the people of Uttar Pradesh. Young unemployed youth are loitering all over the state. Number 3, he had promised that he will give 15 lakh rupees to each citizen of this Uttar Pradesh as well as that of the country.
Okay.
So he has failed. And finally, let me say one more thing and I will close my comment.
Yes.
The last thing is that he is saying that he wants to do away with the evil. But Atal Bihari Vajpayee, the Prime Minister, former Prime Minister, the most respected, one of the most respected Prime Ministers said, Mr. Narendra Modi failed to perform the Raj Dharma, and that is where people have certain reservations about Narendra Modi, because his colleagues
those
are saying that
reservations
there
that
are
you are
some
talking
Ram
about,
Bhakt, there are some
those
other
reservations that you are talking about, sir, certainly aren't borne out by your election results in recent times as compared to the BJP. If you look at the Lok Sabha results last time around, the BJP winning 43% of the votes. So if you say that there are issues or concerns about Raj Dharam as far as Mr. Modi is concerned, they certainly don't seem to be borne out, at least by people who voted for you.
In elections cannot be tested like this. They may be there, but the real strength is whether have you stuck to your words, whether have you performed what you have promised, and the test is the unity between performance and promise, and that is what we are questioning.
Okay, Sanjay Jha, I'd like you to come in over here. The language and the discourse that we have seen in recent times post the Uri attack and post our surgical strike on Pakistani terror camps, and Rahul Gandhi's remark, it's called the Dalali remark, as it were, where he said, "Unke khoon ke piche aap chupe hai," telling the Prime Minister about how he saw the Prime Minister actually hiding behind the blood of Indian soldiers. Is that the level of discourse that we are going to expect of the Congress going ahead in this UP election process?
Vishnu, in all honesty, if there is any one political party that has really lowered the standards of political and public discussion, it is the Bharatiya Janata Party. Let me give you two examples. Number one, even as you and I and everybody on the panel is talking, and a happy Dussehra to all, the truth is that there is a terror attack that has happened at Pampore. There are 4 attacks that have happened in India, and frankly near the line of control in Jammu and Kashmir, since the surgical strikes.
Yes.
Therefore, when I was reading newspaper reports this morning that the RSS is going to use the surgical strikes as an electoral campaign for the BJP in Uttar Pradesh, you can only hang your head in shame. And the truth is that the BJP will always talk in a forked tongue. Mr. Modi will adopt one posture, while his foot soldiers, the BJP President Amit Shah, will proudly proclaim in a press conference that we are going to make surgical strikes an electoral campaign issue. I think it's extremely unfortunate.
But why,
the
why,
fact
why
that
is
Manohar
it
Parrikar made a
Sanjay?
statement
Why is it unfortunate? If this is a battle against terrorism, which the government of the day has chosen to fight in a manner which is evidently very effective, why shouldn't they make a political issue out of that? Just out of curiosity, what's wrong with that?
Vishnu, there are two factual, errors, and you can't afford, as a government, you have got to be responsible when you communicate to 125 crore people of India. I think the whole country by now knows, if not, they will know it right now, at least those who are hearing your channel, that there was an Operation Ginger, a highly successful campaign of a counter-terror attack which happened in the soils of Pakistan, confirmed by the Major General who was part of that operation.
Yes.
For 48 hours, the Indian army was on Pakistan soil. But end of day, when you have a party today where General V.K. Singh was then the Chief of Army Staff.
No,
but
if you're
the level of politics now has reached such an abysmal low.
Hats off to whoever the
Yes.
leadership was, and hats off to the one and
Yeah.
only Indian Army. I'm sure every political party would actually be willing to okay, now I
Right.
don't want to get ahead of myself. Sambit, wait, Gaurav, I know you have a point also.
But nobody
I wanna go
capitalized
across-
on that. Nobody made political capital on
Vishnu,
it.
But what is wrong? But that was a decision that you had
Vishnu, my
taken.
only point
But
is
I want
since
one
I-
moment.
since
I'll
I
come
have
back to you,
answer
Sambit. I
three-
promise.
Since I have to
Because
answer to 3 of my opponents,
No,
please
I
allow me
know.
proportional time.
So I'm going to
I'm
go across to somebody who's not your opponent,
Can I also
and I
come in?
will give you more time, Sambit, because I realize
I told
that
three.
you're in the
I told
minority over
3.
here. So I will give you more time. Rest assured. Sharat Pradhan, the senior journalist. Mr. Pradhan, my observation was that the Prime Minister was perhaps deliberately somewhat muted in the manner in which he referred to the issue of terrorism. He spoke about it in a larger issue. Didn't refer to Uri directly, didn't refer to the surgical strikes, didn't mention the word Pakistan. We have seen the Prime Minister being much more direct in the past. Why do you believe he did this?
Well, I think he has surprised everybody, including us, We never thought that he would keep himself away from any direct reference to Uri or the surgical strikes. Everyone thought that considering that this Ram Leela, the main theme was to fight back terrorism, he would certainly use it as an occasion to make political mileage out of it. But surprisingly, he did not do so. On the other hand, he was very subtle. When he talked about terrorism, he said that terrorism will not be tolerated by anybody, and across the world, everybody is united on this issue. More subtly, he also delved into the question of fighting back the political opponents in UP, to which he referred. Like for instance, he talked about Jativad, where he was referring to Mayawati. He talked about Vanshvad, where he was referring to the Samajwadi Party, and he also talked about Sampradayikta, which is communalism. Where, that is the way he was attacking his opponents. And more than that, what has to be read between the lines
where he was
is the
referring
fact
to himself.
that he talked about women, equality of women.
Very, very
On one hand,
strongly,
BJP
yes.
has been talking about uniform civil code. And here today he emphasized a lot, he devoted a lot of his 30-minute speech to equality of women to be provided to women.